you need to make sure that when you are starting a local newsletter, you pick the right one for you. And an arts newsletter might be the perfect solution for you. Now, this is a great newsletter if you're the kind of person that like to go out to local music events, maybe watch live music, shows, theatre, art galleries, but you would like to set yourself up to a point where you don't have to pay for these. You actually get invited as a member of the press, a member of the media, which means that you don't have to pay for it. This is also great if you're the kind of person that lives in the local area where you're starting the newsletter. You want to build relationships with people that live in the area, and on top of that, as well, you don't want to be writing a daily or weekly newsletter. You prefer to write a newsletter once a month that goes into things in detail, or fortnightly. You prefer that long form newsletter. So if that sounds like you're not the kind of person who wants to wake up every day with the pressure of, oh, I've got to put out a newsletter today, or you don't want to do a business newsletter, then this kind of newsletter where you're going to get invited to events for free could be the perfect solution for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're starting a local arts newsletter is you're going to decide the content focus. Now, you might go purely sort of art when it comes to art galleries and sculpture and painting, or you might keep it really broad and go for everything. You might go for something that's along the lines of sort of music. Once you pick that, you then want to decide, what are you going to cover? Upcoming events is something I would definitely cover, and I'll talk about why in a bit. Are you going to do artist spotlights, reviews of events that have gone on? I would definitely do that one. Are you going to do work on things like behind the scenes? Are you going to work on trying to build relationships with local artists, such as local musicians, see if you can get exclusive content? So first of all, decide what is it that you are going to include in your newsletter. And also on top of that as well, you're going to want to think about the location that you're targeting. Okay, so it wants to be an area that has a passion for that type of art already. So you probably already know what that is if you're in a local area. If you're in a city, a large city that has sort of 200 plus, or 100,000, 200,000 plus population, then you could do a live music, because there's probably enough venues out there for you to cover live music. When it comes to art, you probably want to go for somewhere that already has a big art scene, or you already have a good understanding of the art scene in that particular area. Okay, so once you have got the type of content you want to cover, you then want to think about niche selection. So choose a specific art form or a geographical location. Once you've done that, we then want to think about audience building. So you want to target art enthusiasts. You want to start to network with these people, collectors, gallery owners, live music event owners, all these kind of people. Now, if you want help on exactly how to do this, then just comment the word audience in the comments underneath this video. And if we get enough interest, then we can make a video on that for you. Then what we want to do is we want to think about monetization. Okay, so we're going to think about advertising, sponsorship, and affiliate marketing. Now, affiliate marketing, you can put a link into your newsletter from day one that people will click on, and then you will make money from it. So that's a really easy, simple way to make money straight away, but you're not going to make a huge amount. The way you're going to make most of your money is to start building relationships with local art venues, local artists, and talk about advertising and sponsorship. Now, this is where I said about upcoming events, where this comes in, because actually having somebody's event that's upcoming features in your newsletter, once you have a big enough list, could be a way of making money, because that could be a slot that is paid for. Not only that, you can have multiple tiers. So for example, you could have images and a bit of text. That could be your big advertising or sponsorship link, which you would charge more for. And then somebody who has got less money or smaller budget could just have a link with one sentence. This is not a lot of work for you to put together, but when your list is big enough and engaged enough, you could actually make a huge amount of money from it. So do think about that in terms of upcoming events. But on top of that, in terms of content, we want to go nice and in-depth about what is happening in the local area. So again, we can use artist spotlights. So if there's an upcoming artist that wants to be featured in your newsletter, they could pay to have a deep dive done on them in your newsletter, and you can make money as from that as a form of sponsorship. The same with reviews as well. So not only are you creating content for your newsletter that people are interested in, but you're actually making money from that content at the same time. And obviously, in order to be able to write about an event that is that has happened, or do a deep dive, you actually have to go to these things. So you're likely to start getting invited as a member of a press to be able to go and see different events. Okay. The other way that you can make money from this kind of newsletter is to offer exclusive artist interviews or access to art galleries collections that aren't necessarily very easy to get into, tickets, discounts, those kind of things. You could have a premium part of your newsletter, so to access that, people will have to actually pay. It might only be a couple of dollars, maybe $5 that they pay, but it's going to save them more money every month by having access to that. And then that would be another way for you to be able to make money. And then, as I said, events promotion is a great way. You partner with galleries, venues for ticket sales. You could put their event in your newsletter and then you take a percentage. So for example, for every click, they would pay you a certain amount, or you could just charge a fee, a flat upfront fee of a certain amount, $200, $500, depending on the size of your list and what the event is. And then they would pay for that spot, and you would drive clicks to their event, and therefore they would make more ticket sales from that. Okay. And as I mentioned before, artist collaboration, feature artists as a sponsored post within your newsletter, and you can get paid for that, as well as product placements. So if you can partner up with companies that link to your newsletter in some way, don't have to necessarily be local, but if they've got an interest or a link to what your newsletter is covering, then they can put a product in your newsletter as a sponsorship. So as you can see, if you have an interest in this, it's quite easy for you to be able to identify what you want to write about, start building your newsletter, and start making money from it. And you can use AI in order to be able to write the whole thing for you, because what AI is able to do is it's able to curate content, it's able to summarize content, and it's able to write for you. So all you have to do is go through, humanize it, give it your own tone of voice, and then you can put it into your newsletter. So you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours creating this thing. Plus, as you get bigger, people will start to reach out to you. They'll want to be featured in your newsletter. So you don't have to go and find all these events yourself. They will actually come to you and ask to be featured. If you found this useful, then definitely check out this video on the screen now. It's going to help you out with picking your location for your local newsletter in order to help you make sure that you have got that right. I'll see you in the next one.